What's up, chat? Volume two. We got this. You think after what is this, 8 now, 9, something like that, you would know how to unmute your audio, but c'est la vie, chat. C'est la vie. Yeah, how's everybody doing today? Hope everybody had an amazing Saturday so far. Yeah, been doing a lot of work behind the scenes on, by the way, my throat is on the fritz, so we'll see how that happens. But I did have some amazing pho tonight, which kicked so much ass. I put like literally, I don't know, 12 good shakes of sriracha in there, put like 4 chunks of jalapeno. So we got that good. Not only was it like kill my mouth hot from the temperature, it's kill my mouth with spice as well. So hopefully, and it literally drained me. Like I was like snot everywhere. My daughter and I were having dinner, so she was eating pho with me, and I'm getting proud of her, chat. Like she threw in like a good 5 or 6 dollops of sriracha as well, and I'm like, hell yeah, good job, kid. And my son, he had a basketball tournament today, so I was kind of, back and forth with everything. But they got second place, chat, and he got the MVP for the final game because, by the way, they lost by 24 on the final game. But he hustled harder than anybody, and he just didn't quit. And it's really just one of the most beautiful moments I have seen in a long time, and really proud of him. So I love you, bud. Yeah, it was crazy. He got to this like to wear this like ugly, like on MLB, like when they hit a homer, they give you like the jacket to wear now. They had a version of that for him, so he was wearing the MVP jacket and was really proud. So that motivated me, chat. We're gonna keep rocking on HostFabric tonight. We're gonna bring in some new friends that have been cooking up, and yeah, I think we are real close, chat, to this actually being a thing, which is crazy. We started this about, I think I kicked it off like 2 weeks ago officially, and then just basically, vibe coding, trying to understand how to connect the different aspects of it together in a meaningful way. And I think it's a really cool product. Like I actually am excited to use it, and excited for the Monday, like 2 days from now, actual podcast where like I get to test it for the first time to see how it works, like actually for real. And you gotta dog food a little bit, and I'm excited to give it a go. And that was the whole purpose of this thing, by the way, chat. Like I tried to do a podcast called MONDAI, like MONDAI. It's actually called Sunday, and then I realized YouTube doesn't let you stream for 24 hours after you sign up. So I'm like, well, shit, okay, we're gonna call it Monday. MONDAI, and Streamlabs has a agentic AI co-host. So like there's a little dude on the, basically like these guys, right? Except I couldn't get the video to work for it properly, and secondly, the answers that it kept giving were all just around like the streaming stuff. So like, how do you, like I would ask it some question about what we were working on, and it's like, yeah, that sounds great, here's the stream options to do that. I'm like, homie, we're talking about something completely different. That's not helpful. So yeah, that's what the inception of HostFabric, which is the maybe shitty name, I don't know, TBD, that ChatGPT and I came up with to basically enable this for all streamers that want to do this. Because if it's hard, for someone like me who's pretty nerdy and can code and do some shit, it's probably hard for everybody. So figured might as well turn it into something that most people might want to use. And that is the inception of it. So what we did, and when I say we, like the royal we, like I plus ChatGPT and Codex and or Codex, Claude, Grok, and whatever the model is that Cursor uses for their behind the scenes stuff I've created is getting to be pretty cool. So tonight, our mission is to basically just get everything to a V1 version. Like it's there tonight, or it's there mostly, but there's some things that we still need to fix up and clean up, and want to show you some of the new functionality too, which is kind of fun. And by the way, OAuth, super pain in the ass, by the way. I'm glad I didn't stream that yesterday because it was, I mean, like it's just all the keys everywhere. So like I literally would have just like shared like a corner of my screen or something, which isn't good television, right? So, but now we are cooking with it. So I will show you what that looks like here. You can now log in with Google or Twitch on the bottom here. So we have that through Supabase, which if you go to here to sign in providers, so Supabase actually gives a pretty good list of different providers or different ways to sign in, which I had no idea that it offered this out of the box. You basically just can enable it on here. You go get your, client IDs from, in this case, Google and Twitch. And then you're able to let people log in through that. I still want to add Twitter. I want to add maybe just that for now. I think that's probably the near term. Simple, maybe Facebook. I don't know. But anyway, Google and Twitch make that process a lot easier. And then what that looks like is you can see here, you get the user's profile picture if they have one. We have our UUID, and then shows you who provider, or like how they logged into it in the first place or created their account. And then they can just click a button and you're logged in. You don't have to worry about it ever again, which is pretty sick, right? Like I think it's a super simple to use way to do so. And I think it's best in class. So I am going to check my audio quick just so I'm not getting burned by this. If that was a monologue that I've been talking to myself about, I might cry. So hold please. I still have to talk, so this is picking it up if I talk. That was a monologue that I've been talking to myself about. There we go, chat. And actually, it's a lot quicker. So one of the things I've been working on is a lot of the like Streamlabs behind the scenes stuff and how to optimize for that. And one of the biggest ones that I have done that's different is set the preset to better quality. So hopefully that should come through on the stream itself. And then I upped the bitrate to 8,000. And then something else, I don't remember what it was, but basically I might have changed the encoder, but it's a lot quicker now. So like there's only like a couple second delay, especially on X. I noticed that one kicks up. So happy about that. One thing I'm not happy about, by the way, on X right now is this shit. Like, so, okay, I'm gonna go a little tangent mode here. How shitty does this look, chat? Like, there's no way to connect to the VOD, which is there, like it's there sometimes, but what is this about? Like, why is this not a thing? You click on it and it says the broadcast has ended, even though they've literally saved the VOD that you can see in the post above it. Like, this is a thing. Like, why is this not this, chat? You know what I mean? Like, this is a terrible user experience. And like, if anybody goes to this you know, any of these links, like, it's just, I don't get it. I really don't. And so some of the old ones still are there, some aren't. It's like the ones that I have through a repost are there, but the ones that aren't, I don't know what it is, chat. But anyway, for whatever reason, this is not the way. So honestly, maybe it's something on my end. I don't know, but TBD. And anyway, glad that we are trucking tonight, and glad that you guys are here to watch with me. Appreciate you. And yeah, I hope this is a helpful way to kind of dig into just, you know, how do you vibe code? How do you create something that is production worthy? Because I think a lot of people dabble in vibe coding, like they'll dip their feet in, but just don't know how to get it to that like next step, right? And that's probably the hardest part is if you watch the VOD from 2 days ago where we were deploying it on Vercel, like there's so much pain in that process. So yeah, now that it is deployed, it's stable, like hopefully things will kind of move a little bit quicker. We can make our changes, you know, every time we push. This is all of the changes, but every time, you know, we push our changes to GitHub through our words are hard, chat, through our version control system here. Basically every time, and actually let's do that. We were about to do something, so I'll show you what I mean by that. So basically these are all the changes that I've made since the last update on the app, and you can see here all of these files are either new files or updated files, and you can tell which are which by if they have, so like if the one on the left here, which is the one that we had previously, has a red line in it, that means we took something out, and then the green line is what we replaced it with. So basically we changed this link to the getting started guide from control/help to resources/getting started. And the reason we did that was because I realized that in order to access the help pages previously under resources, all of these were you had to log in to get to it. I'm like, well, it doesn't make sense if I just want to see the FAQ. Oh, well, it broke that. Great. So that's another thing. Hold please. So I just saw that page for the first time, by the way. So let's not push this yet until our buddy Claude here. So I took a screenshot, did Alt-V because you have to use Alt-V instead of Control-V if you're using the CLI for Claude Code, and say use the CSS from the old FAQ page. Note that this doesn't apply those. See screenshot. Okay, we'll let them cook for a minute. Let it cook for a minute, chat. But then, yeah, so then basically now these are going to be pointed to this resources /FAQ, etc. page. And if you're in either VS Code or Cursor or some flavor of VS Code, which most modern web development platforms, at least the majority of them are based off of that, you're looking through your code here and you want to see where your updates were, you can click on the right side here where it shows the red and the green, and then it's basically like a top level down view of it. I think they stole that from Sublime Text, actually. So like you can see here, like there's this like little version of it where you can see those changes, but I don't know. By the way, this isn't a thing, chat, so don't try it. So yeah, that's what we're cooking with tonight, chat, and we're gonna just keep pushing. I have some ideas on some go-to-market items that I want to like basically do, and that's probably a tomorrow thing. So we're gonna think about how do we get this in the hands of streamers, right? Like how do we get this in the hands of people that want to use it? I think if I'd love your thoughts on that too, chat, and I have some friends that are brilliant at all things strategy around go-to-market. So I'm gonna hopefully bring in a couple of those too to kind of walk through some of the ideas around it, but basically high level. So it's many pronged approach, but a couple of them are basically going to be, the cold outreach, and a couple of the big ones that I have some like minor connections with, and just friends of friends kind of thing. But I don't know if those will hit. So in the meantime, I thought it might be fun to literally check out some streamers on Twitch that maybe don't have a ton of viewers, but are, still trucking, still making good content. And then we jump in their chat and say, hey, I'm streaming live right now too. Do you want to jump on a Discord to talk about this thing? And you can try it for free, where you can literally have an AI co-host in the background. And then they can see the stream. They can jump on here and we'll test it that way. And then just say, if you like it, we'll give you some time free with it as a way to test it. But I think it's a cool way to test it and try it. So, and then there's a couple other ones I want to do too to be a little more engaging with, potential people that are using it. So I don't know, chat. We'll see. I think some combination thereof. And this is the problem, by the way. Like, this is the problem with all platforms, and not just Twitch, not just X has the same exact problem today, Twitch or chat. Notice how like the defaulted is sorted by recommended for you, and then like second is viewers high to low. This is basically like keeping the biggest streams at the top, and then everybody else is just at the whim of luck or grinding for a long time until you get 1 or 2 viewers a time. And then after that, it's like a struggle bus to get to where you need to be with it. And I think what we can do is hopefully change it a little bit by saying, hey, you don't have to just talk into the void, because that's honestly what I've been doing. Literally, like, there's a couple of people that pop in, and by the way, guys, thank you so much. Like, you're literally the reason that if this said 0 viewers right now, like, I would cry and probably not do this. So you're the reason that I'm continuing to do this. I'm very, very grateful. Truly, thank you. But everybody else is struggling with the same thing, right? And so if we can kind of solve for that a little bit by helping people to, get into a position where they have a conversation with this, AI that's not just talking to themselves for hours on end until hopefully, they get someone to jump on or watch or whatever. I think that's going to help the ecosystem quite a bit. So hopefully that's the goal, chat. And I don't know who exactly, like, what number is right to target people with. As we go down this list further and further, you can see, the vast majority of streamers have, less than, call it 30 viewers at any given time. Which is great. Like, if you're just doing it for love of the game, or if like that's what you want to do, cool. But also if you want to, have, or if you're doing cool stuff and like you want your shit to be out there, like, this could be a way to help that too. So I think between all of these like things, we will hopefully be in a position to just jump into some of these, like, and it might be content, right? We might get some interesting back and forth. And then also like, I just want their feedback. So like, what better way to do it than to just like hit up people that are literally doing the thing that you're asking about. And we'll see. We will see, chat. So with that said, let's take a look at what we got cooking here. So this was much better last time. We have a different resources version for this that we'll probably want to use, but honestly, for the sake of what this is, yeah, I think that'll be okay for now. So let me show you a couple different things that we have cooking since last time we chatted. This might be a thing. Actually, that's probably, yeah, okay. So first off, like I said, you can now log in. There's a couple things I still have to change on this. Like it still shows the Supabase like sketchy URL here. I did change that in Google, but I don't know if it just takes a while to load or like to get verified or something. But anyway, this should have a logo here and then just say HostFabric.ai as opposed to sketchy Supabase website, which I wouldn't log into with this. That's crazy. So hopefully that will work to do so. But in the meantime, let's click on our name. So added a couple things here. So first off, you know, if you have like just literally like at the like first message, like what do I do? How does this work? Gave you some options on how to do that. I don't know. I'll change those into something better, but that's what those are. And then we also updated, this is a little less obnoxious now. It's still fairly obnoxious, but hopefully that's much better. The second biggest piece that was implemented yesterday is we now have chat integrations with one click. So literally it's connect with Twitch or connect with YouTube, which both have the like chat integrations through OAuth. So now instead of having to find your keys, go to like all these crazy things, you literally just click this, which I haven't done yet, by the way. Sweet. This is actually good. So what this says is status 400, message invalid scope requested, offline access. So it's a bug, yes, but it's a bug that I expected. And so now what we can do is, and by the way, I say that because I say yesterday, I couldn't even get it to actually pull back the OAuth in a meaningful way. So now we have the ability to copy this into, let's go with ChatGPT. I'm going to go in YOLO mode, which is /approvals, down arrow, enter, and then check the model. So we have 5.1 now, which is sick. And I think this is a good moment for high. So let's say when clicking the chat integration for Twitch, seeing this response. And then we're going to copy the URL and then paste it here. And then right click. Okay, so that's interesting. Maybe that's why Claude does Alt V instead of paste, because if I do Control V, it's going to paste the text. Okay, cool. So I guess that's why they did it that way. If you do it Alt or Control V from Codex, you can see you get this message, no image to paste. So you right click instead. So just right click anywhere in this box, wherever the cursor is, and then we'll paste in your shit. And then Control V is for images. So let's hit enter. And hopefully that is a simple little cleanup, which should be cool. Actually, let's give it this too, because then it'll give it the scope as well. Yeah, chat, drinking some non-lukewarm white wine, and it's actually grown on me. Like, I used to be such a stan for not white wine, I guess, like basic bitch stuff, but like I bought this on accident, literally, and kind of into it. So, cheers, chat. Hope you're having a good night. All right. So Codex is cooking on that. In the meantime, let's go back here. We got a loader now, and basically the loader's a logo, which is also growing on me. Like I used to not like it at all, but I think it's there. This I want to change because it doesn't align with our UX colors anymore. So let's give that to our buddy Claude. Align this to our new color scheme. Use the button gradient as guidance. It might be too dark for it, but we'll see. And especially since we have a button in here. I don't know. We'll play it by ear, chat. But in the meantime, we're going to reload this. And by the way, one of these issues might be that if you notice, the URL that we're using is localhost 3000. So that's basically our local version on our computer, right? So when we spin up a node server here, Node.js, like every time we like do this, it basically starts a web server on your computer and compiles whatever files that you're working on here. And that gives you this local URL, localhost with the port 3000. So it might be something to do with that. And I'm thinking more about it, it probably is, but we shall see. What else? On the settings, we now see chat commands are a little better. So you can now have different, actually I didn't touch that one yet, as of yesterday. Voice configuration, a little simpler to see. I think we got these updated.
Hello, this is a voice preview sample.
Cool. Okay, so we're going to test all these tonight too, chat. Just to make sure they're ready to rock. I have a sound check now. Go live checklist. By the way, I don't know if I like this or not yet. We'll see. We're trying to give like as simple. Okay, I do like that actually. That's pretty sick. We're trying to keep it as simple as possible, right? Like not anything more complicated than it needs to be, but also have enough functionality where they can get a creative on how the user or how the streamer will use it, right? Because we want both. We want flexibility, and we want, for some reason, the analytics page, you have to refresh twice before it gives you your padding. So let's hit up Sonnet 4.5 for that. So on the control analytics page, on first load, none of the containers have proper spacing. That's another thing I've been learning as this process has happened, chat. I don't say like specific coding things anymore, like padding or like margin or line height or something. I just say like spacing or like, because then you're not as prescriptive, and if there's a better way to do it, it of late has figured out the better way to do it. So instead of, the padding isn't applied or something, it just say like proper spacing for the text and the outside wall of the container. On reload, it works as expected. And then you just let the vibes vibe. Okay. Also, tonight we're going to confirm that the voice console is working as expected, so you can do that effectively. I think probably the biggest open question I have now, chat, honestly, is whether or not they have to have this browser page or some kind of basically the website open for the chat back and forth, because that's, or at least for the text-to-speech stuff, right? Because if you think about it, the reason I was able to have that conversation with our AI friend on Streamlabs was because Streamlabs could capture what key I was pressing to talk to him, right? And so if we just have HostFabric through a browser source, right, which is what we do here, I don't think you can feed it data. Like, you can't send it data that I know of yet. But you can obviously receive data and sound from it. It's just we can't, as of yet, or I don't have a good way yet to do that without creating an app in the App Store, which wouldn't be ideal, right? If that's what it takes, we'll just do it and we'll figure out how to do it, vibe code it, call it a day. But yeah, if we don't have to do that, it makes it a lot easier for onboarding, where you just have to paste in the URL. That's the other thing we're going to do, is a bunch of videos, like how to do this stuff more effectively and do all that in a simple way. So let's add to our to-do list here. To do, create user videos. User walkthrough videos on how to get started. We also want, so confirm that, or I guess just test to see if you can send audio or just data, right? Audio to the co-hosts on the overlay page without having to have an app on Streamlabs, OBS, etc. By the way, there's a bunch of streaming software. I didn't realize. There's quite a bit. There's Restream, Switchers, StreamYard, Streamlabs, OBS, Restream again. Anyway, so we'll have to see which of these, if it's just like making a YouTube video for each of them to show how to get it going with it, that shouldn't be too bad. But we'll test it, chat. We'll see if it works. Or do we need an app for each of the streaming platforms? We'll see. Okay. 3 is end-to-end user creation to chatting interface, or just smoke test, right? Make sure that everything is bulletproof on that. We got to test the voices. Oops. Close you, open you, enter. So we'll check the voices of the different ones here. just to confirm those are good to go. Are updating as expected. Especially the premium ones. I think we're going to have to charge more something for the premium voices just because Google, they're actually pretty liberal with how many they give you free, but the premium ones I know can get expensive quick. So we'll have to see how that looks in the meantime. Okay, so what does it say here? I'll help you fix the spacing issue on the control analytics page. I found the issue. The problem is the CSS loading race condition. The analytics page uses CSS custom properties like control gap MD and control gap small, etc., where defined in control theme. On first load, the order in which these CSS files load isn't deterministic, so the module CSS might try to use variables that just aren't defined yet. Reload, everything is cached, so it works. The fix is to ensure that the CSS files with the variable definitions load before the module CSS that uses them. Okay, like that. And then it also found some other things to fix. Thank you. By the way, I'm getting some static on my headphones, chat. I'm gonna unplug and replug in my mic real quick. One sec. I think that's okay. This one. Okay, hold hands, chat. Pray this doesn't go down, but BRB. Test, 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 test. Your microphone is unmuted but has no signal. Test, test, test. All right, hold on, chat. Let's confirm this is working. I'm still talking. This is me talking. Super, super. Okay. Is that still me talking? I'm hopeful. All right, let's go, chat. We're 2 for 2. Okay, let me get the music back. Again, we're still just rocking with some lo-fi, which is fine. Like, I really can't wait till like we can actually have some good. But I haven't figured out a way to best do that yet. So we shall see. Oh, I also added Google Analytics, so now this will be in there as such, which is pretty sick. So now we can get all the data from updated events and just different pages and see like where people are having problems and issues with it. Hopefully that's not a lot, but it's always good to measure, you know, what you're working with, and we shall see. Yeah, it's crazy. I mean, just since yesterday, we've had 76 people check out the page, so that's pretty cool. And it's, if you see here, like people found it through the video or referrals or whatever, so that's kind of exciting, chat. I did a pass on SEO yesterday, just to make sure that kind of like your blocking and tackling of SEO is applied. And what that means is basically like so like if you go here, actually that's a bad example. Something simple like even on your logo, right? Like okay, maybe it isn't all applied yet. Shit. All right, well, that's another thing we'll check, chat. Is the SEO stuff applied? SEO check. But basically, like you add tags, right? Like you put in words that are keywords in your metadata that like align to what your people are searching for, and that's now including AI, right? So like if an AI indexes your website, and if people are asking a question about like, what I want to do a AI co-host, what tools are available in the market, eventually over time you're going to get traffic from those ones doing so. So let's do this. I have zero expectations, but search online for what are good platforms to use for a streaming co-host that uses AI for the co-host. Don't judge my prompt, chat. Very cool topic. If you're planning on live streaming AI co-hosts, you can use this one. And I've seen these guys before, and they do a pretty good job. It's a little bit more like human-centric, if you will, which is cool. And then this is our buddy that we literally tested, and he didn't work very well, so that's the reason that we're doing this in the first place. Close that. And what else? Okay, well, we're not in the list yet, but should we ask about it? What about this new one I just heard about? Well, it knows that I already prompted like a shit ton about it, so it's gonna be like, you did, dumbass. Called HostFabric. Can you research that? It'd be actually interesting to see if it comes up with anything. Wow. Okay. HostFabric describes itself as an AI-powered live streaming orchestration platform that enables you to add a co-host to your stream in minutes. Chat. That's crazy. This is actually crazy. This went live yesterday, literally, or 2 days ago maybe, but no, yeah, 2 days ago. Key features and highlights. They pitch it for several formats: live sports commentary, talk shows, educational streams, 24/7 AI co-host marathons. That would be fun. Setup claim: ship fully orchestrated HostFabric in one afternoon. Connect your rooms, providers, compose your persona lineup, run orchestration, capture, and iterate analytics. Since you're building a fairly sophisticated setup, here are some things to watch for. Latency, agree. Voice synthesis quality. They mentioned Google TTS plus upgrade to 11 Labs. If you need a very natural host, you'll want to test that. Customize for branding. It still pulls all this legal Q shit. Like, I haven't touched legal Q in a year, by the way. I mean, I have worked on it a little bit, but it's just kind of in stasis right now. Long story. But anyway, it was a previous startup that I had. But this is really interesting, chat. Wow. Wow. Okay. We do support RTMP, so that's good. All right, chat. Well, apparently we're already cooking. I have no idea where I got this from. That is never something I've seen in my life. Persona 4 Specialist Tutorial. What does that mean? That is so weird. Okay. Well, cool. So that was a little bit of a tangent, but basically, yeah, Google Analytics installed. So now we'll see if people pick it up. And I think it actually shows you if they come through, via like a ChatGPT or something like that, but I'm not sure. So we will keep that rocking, chat. But in the meantime, let's make it work so they have something to click on when they do. So I'm going to sign in again with Google. Actually, no. I'm going to close this, check this, because we're going to be in localhost, confirming that our fixes are ready to rock. So test if you can send data audio. Okay, so this is going to be a longer question. And actually, kind of some of these long questions like this, what I actually normally do is go back to ChatGPT and say, actually, one sec, chat. I'm going to open up our delete that quick, delete that, and then co-host. Okay. So basically, chat, like these are all the prompts that I've had added to this project for co-host, which was the old, I guess, like the name when I started. I guess now we can call it HostFabric. Okay, and here I want to ask, I'm worried the streamer will have to have a page open for the speech to text capture to send voice text to the co-hosts on the overlay page. Is there a way to do this? Actually, no. On the overlay page, create a prompt to ask Codex if there is a way to do this technically without having to have an app on Streetlabs or said. Okay. So the reason I do this is it's kind of just like the old garbage in, garbage out situation. Like if you can get a better question, you can get better answers, right? And so then instead of just like half-assing it with something like this, so now we have insane amount of, stuff to ask, and we can just have it go ham on it. And the other thing I usually do with something like this is do it with both or a couple different options, right? So I think these are both pretty fresh, but I'm just gonna compact anyway, just to get that better. I know Google we just opened up, so that, I did again, chat. For some reason, there's a trigger in my brain that calls ChatGPT Google. Lord help me as to why, but okay, so we're gonna paste that in. ChatGPT, when you multi-line paste text, always just starts it auto kicking off. I don't know how to solve for that. If there's a better way to do that, please let me know. I would love to learn more. But with a situation like this with Claude, so we'll paste the text in, right? And then if you shift tab, you can go to plan mode. Like this is a perfect application for plan mode because it's just kind of like open-ended questions. It kind of thinks back and forth. I think it uses Opus for this, but I've actually found Opus does a pretty good job still of, and by the way, why that's bad is like Opus is on 4.1, whereas Sonnet's on 4.5, like a newer, better, faster model, etc. So I think we can do both of these and see what answers we get. So I'm going to kick that off at the same time and see what some of our answers are. Okay, so let's start with ChatGPT, which for some reason already has an answer, which is kind of crazy. Okay. Oh my God, how did it do it this fast? Okay, so this is all our stuff that we asked. Okay, core question answer. Did we send it? Okay, hold please. So we sent through leverages existing OBS Streamlabs browser capabilities. Do you guys hear that fuzzy again? I wonder if it's my, could either be my USB-C connection or my, might be my cord here. So I have another one I can swap it out if I keep doing it, but if you don't hear it, just let me know. Okay, so pick one of the main path, describe it. Okay, so this is core question answer. You cannot get the streamer's mic program audio into your backend solely through an overlay browser or platform APIs. Reasons. OBS browser source is Sandbox CEF. I don't know what that means. Okay, Sandbox CEF refers to the Chromium embedded framework running within a security sandbox, which isolates its subprocesses like rendering and GPU from the rest of the system to protect against malicious web content. Cool. This feature, inherited from Chromium, prevents untrusted code from directly accessing system resources, enhancing the security of applications that embed the browser. To enable this, the application must link the CEF sandbox library and properly initialize the sandbox. Okay, cool. So, I mean, love that. Basically, everything that you pull in from the browser source is sandbox through Chromium. Love that. Okay. Regular browsers cannot capture system mix. They can only access microphone devices granted via the user prompt. Getting the actual mixed stream audio would require routing OS audio back into a microphone, virtual device, and still a helper tab to read it. Neither Twitch or YouTube provide a real-time downstream tap of the broadcaster's audio. They ingest RTMP and restream out, but no API to mirror that to you instantly. Pulling from their public HLS is too latent. Okay. HLS is a streaming format. I think Apple developed it, but it basically is dynamic. So like it will take like a codec and then based on the user's bandwidth, like give you better streaming quality or not based on the basically beefiness of the pipe that you're pulling it from. So therefore, without either one, streamers opening or keeping a capture page running, or two, installing some helper plugin that taps audio locally, there's no path to capture low latency audio. Lowest friction viable alternatives. Dual RTMP output, no extra software, just OBS config. Love that. Minimal OBS plugin that streams audio, single install, handles routing, or a loopback device plus helper. Slightly heavier due to driver install. Dedicated browser capture tab. Chat. Should we make a hardware thing for this? Should we build hardware? Is that what this is telling me to do? I'm kidding. But that would be kind of fun. Anyway, that'll be a V3. Recommended primary architecture from a startup needing low support load. Hallelujah. Dual RTMP output is the sweet spot. 0 new binaries, consistent UX, works on both Windows, Mac OS, uses only OBS settings that the streamers already understand. Okay, so flow. Streamer configures OBS output to recording or multi-output to send additional stream to audio.hostfabric.ai/live/channel. Wow. With the key/token you provide. They route the same scene audio. They route the same scene audio. Okay. I don't know what that means. I don't know what they're routing, but okay. Your ingest server, example, Nginx, RTMP, or WIP gateway, accepts RTMP, demuxes audio, re-encodes to Opus, and feeds STT service via gRPC or WebSocket. Okay. Chat, there's a lot in that sentence, by the way. So let me do this. Copy this. Go back to our other homie. Hold, please. Okay. Got this answer from Codex. Please ELI5 this and keep it simple in a paragraph. Okay. You can't secretly grab a streamer's mic audio from the overlay page itself because OBS Streamlabs block your browser sources from accessing the computer's audio, and Twitch/YouTube don't give you real-time audio feed either. So if you don't want the streamer to open a separate capture tab or install an app or plugin, the only real option is to have OBS send a second copy of their audio to your server using a built-in OBS feature called dual RTMP output. This means the streamer just adds one more setting in OBS, no installs, no extra app. OBS sends a private audio stream to your backend, your server runs it through STT, speech to text, and your AI co-host responds on the overlay. It's the simplest, lowest friction way to get reliable audio without asking the streamer to run more software. Honestly, chat, yeah, that sounds sick. Okay, love that. All right, so we're probably going to do that, but let's check here quick on Claude's version. So web search, yes, and don't ask again. Okay, so it's going to, which I like, right? It's actually searching online, how to do this. OBS plugin development, audio capture, C++. Lord help us. Chat, I haven't touched C++ in 20 years. No joke. Okay. With that said, it's going to be cooking for a minute here. So had to pee for like the last 20 minutes. I'm gonna go do that. I'm gonna do the BRB screen. I'm gonna keep the music on, and hopefully you guys can vibe out for a minute, but we will be right back. Thank you. Hello, chat. Just as a kind of a, I don't know, we got to test it at some point. So let's just test it now quick, just to confirm that in the meantime, everything that we've done so far isn't broken. Hold please. I'm going to open our overlay and see which ones these are using. Okay. So, one sec, chat. I'm going to do... Hey, guys. How's your day going? Can you hear this? Okay. It's completely broken. Chat, that's so bad.
Enjoy your holiday. Keep those planner messages handy and come back anytime. Bye bye.
Love that. Love that.
Got it. Sounds like you're wrapping up and sending off all the good vibes.
Yeah.
Hee hee.
Wait, why do we have two? Hold, please. Okay, that was weird. Did you see that TTS? That was crazy bad. I wonder... Okay, I actually think I might know what that is, but... Hello, can you hear this? Okay. Chat, back to the list. We gotta get that fixed up tonight.
Brainstorm, answer a question, or just listen. Which would you prefer? Sounds like you're thinking. Want to share what's on your mind?
Speech to text. It's broken again. I think it's something to do with the fact that we've been chunking it in ways, and I don't think it's putting it together in a meaningful way. So, yeah, we'll get that checked out as well. But let's see if Claude gave us something more substantial. Honestly, from what I'm seeing, I think that is the way to do it. And also, let's make this a little bigger and user-friendly. Okay. Okay, so let's copy all this. Put it into here. Okay. So from what I'm seeing here, we should just be able to do a settings thing. Streamer configures OBS, output, recording, or multi-output to send an additional RTMP server stream to whatever. Okay. And this is basically what we're doing here, right? Like the URL already has a key that we use, and basically from that URL, then we get our unique to us version of these guys, right? Like that's how we know that's our overlay page. So basically, if we can do that through this RTMP stream setting situation, we're just going to need a like Nginx RTMP or whip to do so. The only issue I have with this is if it sends it to us before it sends it to the, well, it's going to have to either way, right? I guess it's doing that already on the overlay page, and that seems pretty instant, right? So if you go here, open this. This is a test to see if this is recording. Yeah, okay. We'll get that figured out, but basically it's close to getting into it. I also want to reset the permissions on this.
Didn't quite catch that. Could you clarify what you mean by Biddy, Halt, and Yeti, and whether you're asking for a game, home media, or lesson communication?
If you like.
I can suggest considerate
This is a
home game
test.
ideas for kids, templates for communicating media
Test,
and lessons,
test.
or a short plan for returning. Tell me which and I'll give options.
Okay. So what's our whisper error? Okay. Too many requests. Interesting. So we might get rate limited. Okay. Well, add it to the list. Okay. One thing at a time. Let's go back to this and see the response. Is there a realistic architecture where the streamer does not need a separate audio capture and install platform-specific apps or plugins? No, here's why. At the OS browser OBS level. Okay, so this is good, right? We confirmed that. OBS WebSocket cannot stream audio data. Protocol limitation. Platform APIs don't expose live audio. Okay, we already know that. Audio must be captured somewhere else. Least painful solution. Virtual device. VB cable. Black hole. I don't know what that is. Plus your control panel tab. Okay. Control panel already stays open during streams. Okay, fair. Feels like a toggle, not another tool. 2 to 3 weeks. Okay, bud, chill. OBS plugin. You're already 70% there. The infrastructure supports this with minimal changes. Would you like me to create a detailed implementation plan for option 1 that you can execute, or would you prefer to explore the WebRTC streaming STT upgrade path for lower latency? I don't understand. Okay. Streamer physical mic. OBS Streamlabs audio input. Stream output. So this is what it's doing currently, right? And out debate solo mode. What's interesting about this, chat? So this, okay, Claude is getting it completely wrong. It's not what we want, but it's also an interesting way to think about it. So what this is saying is like we switch it from basically this get user media buffer, which is the web audio API, which works pretty well in most cases, and you're not seeing it at the moment, but I've been testing it a lot behind the scenes, and you can get some pretty long conversations out of it. Whisper STT. So Whisper is our speech-to-text model that we're currently using. We can also test on Grok, too, by the way, GROQ, which is blazing fast, I know. Or 11 Labs came out with one this week that's also insanely fast. So it's saying streaming with STT with Deep Cram and Assembly AI. Okay, plus WebRTC. So you get the audio capture, WebRTC encode. You send it through UDP on the network. Wow. So UDP, we're going to get a little nerdy here. So in the TCP IP stack, there's either, in the like networking stack, like the way that you send packets of data back to like the servers and whatnot, you can either do it through TCP, which says like, it does a thing called a handshake that says like, I'm going to send you a packet. You send me one back saying, yep, I got it. Here's my information. And then you send one back saying, cool, I'm glad you got that. Here's the next piece. Like there's like 4 or 5 bounces back and forth depending on the infrastructure. But it's good because then it confirms that it gets it, right? It can encrypt things more rigorously. And also, it doesn't have a lot of like dropped packets or missed packets, right? Since it's like, hey, cool, now send me the next thing. Here's the next thing. Great, I got it. Send me the next thing. With UDP, it's basically like a fire hose. It's just like, here's a shit ton of packets. Hope you get them. God bless. Which is good for like streaming video and stuff, right? Because then it's like, you don't, even if you drop a bunch of packets, like you're just basically trying to give you the best volume of data from it. And so like it works pretty well for that and some video game server situations and some other ones that don't need kind of the overhead of the other TCP version. TCP IP, I don't know. Anyway, so it's saying to do that instead, which I think is what WebRTC uses for some of it. But that time, like I'm a big fan of those time savings, chat. Because we're going to have to do the TTS synthesis either way, right? So we're always going to have like 200, and these are milliseconds, so like 0.2 seconds to 0.5 seconds is going to take the synthesis. We got to download again, and then, you know, put the text on the screen. This is the big variable, the LLM generation. I think that's potentially aggressive right now, depending on the model we use and the type. But then down here, it's saying, let's do audio capture, use WebRTC to encode it, throw it on the network as a UDP packet, and we can save quite a bit of overhead on that upload. Okay. I'm here for it, chat. I mean, this is 1 to 3 seconds. This is 0.5 to 1.7. Why does this thing start with option 1? Okay. So I'm going to copy all this to throw it in our doc here. Which honestly sounds better in some ways. Yeah. Okay, does it talk about the other stuff though? So it's saying you can't, it's the same thing ChatGPT said, you can't do both. OBS browser sources, can't access the microphone, cool. And then that issue, okay, so 3 realistic options ranked by effort versus friction, virtual audio device plus regular browser tab. So what, but it sounds like from with ChatGPT's option, we don't even need to have the browser tab open. Which honestly sounds better in my book. I think that's probably going to be the way to do it. Oh, sorry, chat. I didn't realize this is covering that up. Okay, so honestly, let's do this. Let's check to see if our fixes were applied from the ones that we were working on prior. Let's get this current version fixed, and then we'll get let's try it. Let's just see what this setting thing is. I think the biggest pain point will be having to set up some of the back-end stuff with the this dual RTMP tab. Oh God, FFmpeg again, chat. It always comes back. I swear to God, every single project. No. I'm trying to think. So, of the like 7 kind of like serious startups I've been a part of, I think I've used FFmpeg in 5 of them. Swear to God. So, it's just, and there's the meme online about it too. So, love that. Okay, so yeah, I guess we're gonna have to get back at it. Although I do love WebRTC for something like this. And the cool thing about WebRTC is like you can make it even more modular. So if you have someone else come join your stream, or if you have multiple people on the same stream, but I guess you could just share the same link, right? And it would just do the text-to-speech. Because if you're capturing the audio from the other person, then it's going to have both in there. Huh. Okay, well, let's YOLO it, chat. All right. Go here. So I'm going to just paste those in, and then I'm going to go right click, copy response, which is what it gave us back for the error. All that fun. Actually, where did that go? What's happening? Okay. Oh, didn't have one. Okay. That's a pretty good reason not to copy something then. And then this one was for the whisper. Copy the headers. Throw it here. Paste this. Let's see what it can do. So if we can get it to a working version first, then we just minimize the amount of potential pain that it has to figure out in the meantime. And I think that's probably a better option to do. So we'll let that cook. What were the other bugs? To do. Okay, so we're going to test. Yeah, so that's the one we're working on. That's the big question for tonight, chat. Like this is, if we can't solve for this, then it's just going to be super annoying, because then they're going to have to just either keep the window open at all times, which is not a good user experience, you know, or do the text to it, or use your chat to do it. All of which are options, but I still, let's get the user first, chat. Always put the user first. Make it as simple as possible. If they don't have to do something, that's a win. Create user walkthrough video. Okay, that'll be later. End-to-end smoke test. We'll do that later. Oh yeah, well, I guess we can test that now. So how we're going to test that is I'm going to reload the server. I'm going to do npm run dev. We used to use pnpm, but Vercel seems to work better with npm, so that's why I swapped back to ye old npm package manager. But let's go to here on our voice configuration. So you can see we currently have two homies here, ChatGPT and Grok. So let's test with them. I'm going to test ChatGPT's. I'm going to put it to, let's see. UK English Female Premium.
Hello, this is a voice preview sample.
Ooh, sexy. Okay, we're going to select that one. I'm going to save it. We're going to select that one. And save it. Are you kidding? Okay, chat. This is why we test. You love to see it. The irony of this is that we literally just created these buckets yesterday. Wait, actually. Where was that error? Okay, so it said failed to load resource. We got a 500 error. Strange. Okay, I wonder what bucket it's trying to use for this. Sorry, chat, one sec. By the way, my kingdom for anybody that can make this process simpler. Copying, just don't force me to copy out of the browser. And I know Cursor has a browser now. And maybe we should try it for that, honestly. We'll do it after this. Seeing this error when saving a different voice selection on the page. Yeah, and maybe that's just a comfort thing, honestly. I'm learning a lot that it's true. Like, you gotta unlearn all the shit that you've learned, you know, and just like be an open slate to just a simpler way to do it. And I thought about that today, like, my son was, he was playing Pokemon, and he was like, hey, remember when we were talking to ChatGPT and we were talking about that move? Like, what route was that on again? So I gave him my phone. I'm like, I just read this, and he couldn't find it. And his default is to just use speech. Like, he just asks a question, presses a button, and like if he goes back, like, so like, you know, for me, like old school, like I type most things, and now it's like I'm learning to just use speech for things, and like it's so much simpler. And I think honestly, Siri probably, oh god, and sorry everybody if that also hit yours, but I think kind of cucked everybody in that, like, it was so bad for so long that we kind of had an aversion to it if you were an iOS user. And so I gotta just unlearn that and say, like, there's a lot of good modern speech to text and just speech platforms out there now. Hopefully this one included, but like, you know what I mean? Like, it's just interesting that like we go to these modes of doing work that you're just familiar with, and you need to be open to, you know, new experiences, new possibilities, new ways of doing things, and just be faster with it. So all that to be said, I will test the browser thing tonight. As a way to do that. Does it actually open a browser tab? Okay. That's kind of cool. So let's restart our server. Let's log in. Oh, okay. So since I don't have my version of, or like, +4. Since I don't have any of the cookies or anything saved in this one, like regular Chrome, I would have to re-log into my Google account. Okay, so here we have it. Let's go to our settings page. Voice configuration. Is it still like a little scratchy for you guys too? Like every so often it gets. Yeah, it is to you too. Shit. Okay, sorry, chat. Let me pause that quick. It's not one thing, right? Okay, and I'm gonna swap out my cord here, which I think it might be. So 1 sec. Be right back. Okay, chat. It's seems like it's no longer fuzzy for me. That's good. Hopefully the same for you. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that was the issue. So, okay, 2 things. We were gonna go back to here. Oh, there it goes again. Fuck. It must be this USB cord. If it gets obnoxious, chat, I might have a USB cord to pop out later, but that sucks. I'm sorry, chat. Sorry, let me test one more thing. I just don't want you to have to suffer through. So good news. Oh, bad news. Never mind. I was going to say good news, it's on my end. But it sounds like it's on this end too. I don't know what's happening. Okay, shit. Well, I hate to do this, chat, but I might have to restart the screen because it's going to get annoying for everybody. Let me turn off the music first. Okay. Does it happen if I just talk? You guys, debugging live. This is so fun. Okay, so I'm just talking. This is a beautiful day. Love and life. This is a test. Still testing. Oh my god, that's bad, chat. Okay. I'm gonna end the stream. Love you guys. Thanks for joining. And I'll hopefully get this figured out and jump back on. Alright, thank you.